Hello YouTube, welcome to Wayne's World of Mandolin. That's a classic right there. In the key of F is where I always heard Mr. Tony Rice sing that one, The Banks of the Ohio. That's what we're going to kind of cover today and see what we can learn from this intro. Before we jump in there, I want to invite everybody to subscribe to the channel if you didn't already. Please like the videos if you get something out of them. Something new, this is the first video that I actually have a tip jar established now. The same email that you can reach out to me for some Skype lessons if you're interested in that. That's the same email attached to a PayPal account that I set up. So if anybody wants to support the channel that way in the tip jar, it would be much appreciated. So this intro that I'm playing, like I say, Tony Rice's version of that is kind of the go-to thing for me. I always loved his vocal performance on this tune, and it's a classic. You may not hear this one called quite as much in bluegrass jam sessions as some of the other standards that I've covered, but it's a great opportunity to kind of dig into the key of F and maybe look at the double stops that we're using in this intro. Instead of thinking of that F scale and playing every single interval of that's important. And we've talked about that plenty of times here, you know, with chord scale ideas and different inversions of double stops, if you wanted to call it that. But today is more about where the rubber meets the road and these shapes that we should identify with this key of F. Like right here, I'm going to start with this one. That first double stop that we land on at the 3rd and the 7th fret, that's an A note and a C note. But hopefully you would already identify that as an F double stop. If I played the root note here, I could play an F arpeggio, and there's the 3rd and the 5th. Those pickup notes lead right to that shape. Okay, the next chord that we go to is the key of C, following this melody and following the chord progression. So as we play that, hopefully you recognize this shape as representing a C chord from maybe if you were playing in C, that you would play from that shape, but also the arpeggio here. Those two notes, the 5th scale degree on the 5th fret of the D string and the root note of C right here. You want to recognize that shape. So it's very logical that we're landing there as the chord progression would go to a C chord. So from the top, we would have those two phrases. Now we're going to continue the melody. I like to go to this B flat double stop because it's a flat 7 to the chord that we're playing over. The band would be playing in C right now, and that B flat double stop, it has that nice lonesome bluegrass sound. Look at the phrase I'm playing leading up to that. It's all double stops. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's really nice to play this one. From this shape, we can play the 9th fret of the G string. And look, that would actually complete the chord. That's an E note. So that's the 3rd of our C chord. Here's the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our G note. And then the root note of C on the 3rd fret. So it's kind of a stretch. It's not an everyday inversion that we play, but it actually works really nice right here to keep the full sound of this solo so that we're not playing single notes like that would sound weak because we're used to double stops in these classic intros like this. There it was. Now see, when I play this double stop, the C on the 3rd and the 5th fret, when I reach up here with my pinky to play that E note, I don't want to stop that C note from ringing. It's the little things like that that give your playing a really full sound. Then another double stop back to the first one that we had played at the 3rd and the 7th fret. And that pulls us into this B flat double stop. Then we're going to shift to make that full. It's well worth the effort to move from this position to play that shift so that we do have a nice full sound. There's the melody single notes. There it is with the double stops kind of reinforcing the melody. So once again from the top. Now, my favorite phrase in the intro, just because it's so much fun to play. Pickup notes like we've played a million times, starting in this F position. Then we're going to go to an open A. Instead of playing it on the 7th fret of the D string, we'll play the A string open to provide an opportunity to shift back to first position and play this F double stop here. I like the tone of that double stop better. We could play it up here and it's fine. It gets the job done. I just really like the bright sound of the E and the A strings both being unwound strings. So another shift. A lot of slides there. I'm pushing into that major 3rd note from the minor 3rd. Then I'm playing from the minor 3rd down. And then I'm sliding into this double stop where we would get to the B flat chord. So do that line again. And then our tag line. Here I'm playing a different inversion. Instead of the C note here, on the 3rd fret of the A string, I'm playing it low on the 5th fret of the G string, just to make it different. I just like that throatier sound right there. And then a classic like Ricky Skaggs sounding blues lick. So all single notes there. And look, once again, that minor 3rd note sliding back from the A flat to a G note. And then a classic tag. Using this arpeggio in first position. I just like the tone there. We could play it here. We know that 10th fret F note is the same as this F note on the 3rd fret of the D string, but it's two different sounds. So there's kind of a breakdown of the intro. Let me try it one more time. A lot of cool stuff in this intro, and pay attention as you learn this. Try to resist memorizing how to play the intro, but to really kind of analyze what those double stops are and why they're working the way they are. You could maybe, as you rehearse, include a double stop study like that does cover the entire fretboard. A great thing for you to do. find that information here on the channel. Do some research like that and figure out what that scale is. And as you have a practice session with this particular intro, or this doesn't have to be the intro, it could just be a break that you play in the tune, but incorporate some fretboard studies that would go along with this, and the double stop scale for F would be logical to do at this same time. So I hope this helped.